gonna start in here again with Bella. We've been filming on and off with her, not real consistently. I want to start to build into a little bit more consistent recording with Ben on it. So we're going to start out this morning with her. I want to give you a little bit of an update now. We've had her a little over 2 weeks, and I am going to put her on a leash today for the first time. She's not been on a leash. She's been doing really well with recall. She comes really well. We don't have any bad habits of running off. She picks stuff up and delivers it really well. Supernatural retrieve. I want to be cautious right now. No more retrieving with her. There's no reason to. Not a lot to be really gained by making retrieves with a little puppy like this. You run a risk of burning them out, I think. But what I do think is important is understanding that she's teething. And so Ben, you want to come in if you can. You can see that front little tooth is coming out right there. It's a loose one. That's fallen out. I think she's lost a tooth right the opposite side. That's an adult tooth or a grown-up tooth coming in. So these little canines will be about the last ones to go. But you can see she started losing them, and she's become a little bit more chompy. She has a tendency to want to chew on some stuff, which is important for us to not be retrieving. It's also important for us to make sure that we don't give her an opportunity to get stuff. She'll chew on it, and I don't want to promote the idea of forming a habit of being a chewer. My dogs don't tend to chew on stuff. It's because we don't give them the opportunity to form that habit. It's something that I just really believe in it. I think it's a formed habit, chewing. So don't give them stuff to chew on. Now, she has gotten a couple ice cubes in the last 2 or 3 days to help kind of subdue some of that stress, and some of the numbs her up, I think, a little bit. It's kind of a little bit of a treat for her. Even with my older dogs, I'll give them an ice cube occasionally as a treat. Nothing gets confused with an ice cube. So right now, see how she is to the point where she's getting into everything. So what I'm going to do is, for the first time today, we're going to use the adjustable leader, see how it goes. I think she's too small for a slip chain. I don't know that I would need one with her much. I like slip chains because I feel like they have an audible aspect. They make sound. This doesn't make sound. Come here. Come on, come on, come on. So that little bit of recall is real nice. Now, putting this on the right way is important. We're going to make the letter P and put it over. Now, we've got a whole heel video that we sell that talks just about heel with the purchase of the adjustable leader. So all those details are in there. Our foundation DVD has multiple chapters on heel work. If you watched Live with Spry, you'll know how important heel is to me. If you watch this little puppy, you're going to find out how important heel is to me. Now, she's never had a leash on before, so she's just going to have to get used to the idea, and she's going to have to realize it's not a chew toy. So I'm going to have to do my job with her to keep it out of the way of her to bite on. So today we're just introducing the idea of, we're going to put something around your neck. We're going to start to use it to ask some things of you. Normally I don't want to be on the other end of this when we start this, which is why we do tie outs. We haven't done a tie out with her yet. Come on, come on. So I'm going to move. I think that'll help. She doesn't understand heel position yet. But by moving, we at least give her something to do with her feet other than mess around with me and this leash. Come on. Change directions a little bit. I just tap her, just bump her a little bit when I need it. All I'm trying to do right now is get her to understand it's okay to have this thing on, and maybe even give her an idea of what the position should be, but it's probably, that's a little aggressive to think she could learn some heel position this early. But we're just getting her comfortable with it. Good. Good. I get her nose up with it. I don't like that little nose going down to the ground. Good. Come on. Good. And you can see already she's kind of settling in. That she's getting a little bit used to that collar being there. Come on. Come on. So I'll just change directions a few times. I use it to keep the nose from going down. And I'm also getting used to sliding around her neck when it needs to. Sometimes it'll have to go all the way around the underside of her chin and come back up on this side to keep out of her eyesight. I want to keep it out of her vision. If she doesn't see it, she can't be biting on it. Sit, 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 sit. Good. Goes right back to what we're working on at feeding time. We phased out the food pretty quickly. I don't give her a lot of food anymore as a reward, but I always go like this and then reward that. Good. But this is it. That's a short little lesson with her on this. Now, her lesson will continue this morning with feeding. I'm going to show that because I think it's important for you to see the struggle I'm having with her. It's not her steadiness. I usually use feeding times to steady them up. It's not her steadiness that's an issue. It's she's too steady and doesn't want to move. So I started doing this yesterday. I really recognize that I've got a little issue with that. So yesterday I started thinking about, okay, well, how can I move past that? So I'm working on unsteadying her. I'm working on getting the food and just never asking her to sit, just have her go. And so as soon as she starts to realize when the food goes down, I can go eat. And I'm trying to time it with a little bit of a gesture, but just get her to go and eat. Then I'll go back and start to steady her up when she builds the confidence that she goes. So it's always balancing. She's too steady, loosen her up. She's too loose, steady her up. And somewhere, eventually, we get into the middle, and that's about where we want to be, is somewhere in the middle. So come on, come on, come on, come on. So she gets down and starts to fuss like that. Sit. Just reset her. Sit. Good. Place training is an ongoing thing with us. We had several days at Deer Fest, a consumer show that we did, and it was awesome. And she just smoked it. She nailed it. She did an awesome job on place training, and it was like a really magnified opportunity to form a ton of repetition and consistency to form the habit. Come on, come on, come on. Don't want her doing that. Sit. So there's her attention. Sit. That's starting to tell me her attention span, and so I can gauge how long can I ask her to sit. About 10 seconds probably, before she gets bored, flops over, gets into something else. So move her. Sit. Before it gets to that point, sit. So that she's not the one dictating the move, I am. But then I will slowly build on extending the amount of time that I can get her to focus. So that's it, guys. That's how simple this stuff is. That's how short this stuff should be. This can happen throughout the day, anytime. We could do this 100 times a day if we had time to do it. I don't, but the downtime, she's in her kennel, she's in her crate, or she's on place, or she's with me. And now this is the first time she's ever worn a leash. So at some point here, and it's starting right now, we're going to start to dial in the idea of a little bit of control. And then eventually, once she settles into that, we'll start working on heel and heel positioning. But that's all just real slow, real gradual, baby steps we'll ease into. Come here, come on. Sit, sit, good. And we build on it from there. So that's it. That's your little update here. We're going to start posting these. We haven't even posted one yet. So we're building up a bit of a library, and then we'll be catching you up on them. So thank you for supporting and watching these things, whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube or wherever you're watching it. Or Instagram, we're doing a lot of the stories with her. So it's a lot of those quick little hitters where this is what we're doing, we put it onto our story. Come on. So that's another good place if you're on Instagram. So that'll be it. I'm going to put her up. I'm going to feed her. The baby is sleeping, so I don't know if we'll have Ben in to feed or not, but I'm going to decide when I go back into the house and find out what's going on. But next thing we'll do is feed her. Next thing we'll do is we'll be in the shop, and today we're going to bring her with and do a little place training, and we'll be filming that. Place training is about 6 or 7 days. Well, not even that much. Thursday will be a week, so today's Tuesday, so we're 6 days into it, 5-6 days into it. Good dog. We're continuing on here, some recording stuff. We're we're trying basically to record everything we're doing with this puppy. And we're gonna do some live stuff interaction with it as well, but we did some little bit of intro to a leash this morning. We did a little bit of stuff outside with her. I'm gonna close this up so that we can keep Cody in, and maybe more so for distractions to the puppy. But what we're gonna do is I'm gonna show you us taking her out. We have still been covering her. She doesn't make a peep when you cover it. We're starting to put her in there without it covered. She does get a little bit whiny. I primarily do it when no one's around. So I'm getting her slowly used to the idea of she's gonna fight it the same way she did when we would cover it. She doesn't like the idea of seeing outside and wanting to be out there. You heard her just a minute ago make a little bit of a whiny noise. She'll paw it a little bit. She's gonna have to figure that out, that doesn't get her a reward. So what I've been doing is when we're not home, when I go down to the shop and she's in the kennel, I don't cover it. That's the time that she's gonna start to she's gonna work herself through that. We are continuing with opening the crate and not allowing her to run out. She comes out on her name, and it's after a little bit of a wait. And we're gonna feed her this morning. You can see how tempting that is. She's reaching for it. Bella, good. Have her come out under control. I don't like her free running all over the place. But be conscious of, when she comes out of there and she's taking a nap, she's probably got to go to the bathroom. So with her, I don't worry about it as much because she has a tendency to hold it a lot. She doesn't go for so I'm going to take her outside. We're going to do her bathroom, then I'm going to bring her right back in, and we're going to talk about where she's at with her feeding. It's an interesting little thing that she's got going, and I'll talk about it in a second. Come on, come on. Okay, so I just took her outside. I give her little hurry up command. She's getting a little bit better at it. She still takes some time to go to the bathroom. She's getting real good at eating and not fooling around. One of our struggles with her was eat 3 bites, take hot laps around the house. She's getting a lot better at that, which is good. One of the things, so she's getting really good at this sit and be patient. Sit, good. We reward her with praise. I've phased out most of the food. Sit. Good. Good. So the one thing that I was trying to do with her is I'm trying to line her up and send her to her food. And the problem we're having with her, and we've had it since the beginning, is once she sits down, she doesn't want to get up. She doesn't want to get up off her butt. So I have to get her to the point where she gets excited and wants to do it, and it really kind of defeats the idea of the formality of the drill. One of her other habits is I'll have her sit. Come here. I'll get her to sit on this side where I want her. I'll line her up for the food, and she doesn't want to go out on her own. She likes to come around me and go around the back side. I don't even care about that anymore. I just want her to go. So we'll see how she does here this morning. What I've decided to do is I'm not going to ask her to sit anymore. I don't want her to sit. Keep her feet up off the ground. I don't even care if she holds up and pauses. Just get her in a position, set the food down, and let her go. And let her go kind of with a little simulated lining in her name. That's all I'm looking for her to do, because I figure I can always go back and reel it in. So I'm going to bring her over here. I'm going to set her down. And Bella, 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 Bella. Good girl, good girl. So my hand becomes a little bit of a distraction, but from the hand, she's gonna get to the food. Very good. All that quick movement makes her think, boy, am I doing the right thing here? So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let her eat a little bit. I'm gonna let her realize, oh yeah, there's that food. She's gotten a lot better because of our sequenced feeding twice a day. She's gotten a lot better at the idea of really focus on eating. She'll still take 1 or 2 breaks per bowl where she'll eat for a while and then leave and then come back and finish. She's finishing every time, so I feel like I've got dialed in a little bit on her amount of food. It's probably a little less than 1.5 cups. I was going 1.5 cups and it was maybe a little too much. So she's getting, I may increase it here in a little bit. But so what I'm gonna do then, I can get a couple different times where I can reset it. And I'm not gonna ask her to sit, I'm just gonna Bella, 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 Bella. Good girl, good girl. Very good. I get 2 or 3 times now where she actually walks to the food in a direct line to eat after being with me. And so that's the baby step of how do I fix this idea that she just sits still and won't come off a sit. I'm not even going to ask her to sit, and all I'm going to do is get her drifting and get her moving towards the food. And we can do that a couple times, and like this one's a little bit longer. Bella, 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 come on, Bella, 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 come on. Come on, good girl, very good. So a lot of praise for something as simple as that, because that's the thing we were struggling with. Every time I walk back to her, she comes off of it. So it's just her settling in with the idea of eating. She is not as comfortable with this drill as 99% of the dogs I've trained. Normally, it's not a hesitation to get them to the bowl of food. It's a hesitation to sit steady and wait. She's the opposite. So we just have to change the way we're going to do it. Instead of steadying her up, loosen her up, and then we'll steady her up later. So that's a little update on this. 2 weeks into it, the first week I didn't do anything. First week I just got a bowl of food down and got her to try to figure out how to eat more consistently without taking breaks. You can tell she's getting a lot better at that. She is getting much better at that. And so we're improving on that. And now what we got to do is break her feet loose, let her feet get loose and line to the food a little easier. And then we'll eventually probably start to steady that up again. But there's really no reason to do it. There's really no reason to do it with her right now because she's doing it. Most dogs I do it with is because it's just not natural for them. They don't naturally wait. They want to be in a hurry to go eat. So I tell them, you got to wait. You got to wait your turn. You got to be patient. She's super patient, so let her eat. So real strange little quirks they all have, and this one's just, that's what she does a little bit differently, and that's okay. We're working on fixing her sit. Come on. I'm going to show you that. We did it in the seminar. We videoed our seminar. Go ahead, Bella, 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 Bella. Come on. There's where she likes to go behind me. And that's okay. I'm not going to, that's all right. That's what she was doing pretty consistently every time. Today I got her to go out in front of me. But one of the things when she would come to sit, and she would sit and turn around and face the other way. Another little strange quirk of hers. And I don't necessarily like forming that habit. I was more than happy to have her doing it. See how she just leaves that little bit, that little last bit. That's what she does pretty consistently. But she, for whatever reason, was turning, and I was just trying to get her to sit, and she was sitting for me, so I wasn't going to complain too much. I'm going to take the rest of this food. But then what I found was her habit was face me, sit, and face away. And so for a while there, I rewarded that, whether it be kibble or praise. Come here. Sit. You can see it's gotten a lot better. But she would sit and square away. And so what I started doing was, originally I would feed her that way. I'd just give her the food over here and praise her the same way. When she did it, as long as the butt hit the ground. Now what I got to doing was getting a little bit picky about it. So I started putting the food in a piece of kibble in my left hand. When she would come to me and sit, if she spun away from me, I held the kibble right here with my left hand. So her head was over here facing that way, and I held her right here. And what it did was it forced her to come back to it, and she didn't get the reward until she got in that position. So a lot of times she had to actually physically move her body. Come here. Sit. She had to physically move her body to get the piece of kibble and then to get the reward, the praise. And so just doing that a day or two, she kind of phased out that habit of spinning around and facing away from me. And I don't know where that came from, but I've never seen one do that before either. Come on. And now we're getting a little bit of a squared up sit. Good. So now she's sitting me just the way I want it. Very good. So from here, we'll put her in her kennel, and she'll think about that. So that was a real nice quick little session, but we're just, like I said, we're just trying to literally show you everything that's going on, all these little quirks, because these little quirks are what kind of come up for some people, and you go, and I don't always know that they're coming, and I don't always know that I've dealt with some of them. I've never dealt with a dog that sat funny like that. So I had to just be thinking about it and go, oh, how can I get the dog to square up to me? And so instead of rewarding that, I rewarded it this way. And then she was forced to sit facing me. And then she realized, oh, I get it that way. So little bitty things like this, the stickiness of sending her for the food, never had that before. So I want to show you all that stuff, because it's not always stuff that I'm used to. And have dealt with, but over a lot of dogs, over a lot of years, we run into these little things, and then we try ideas of, oh, Jet used to do that, or Scout used to do this, or Creek used to do this. So I go back in my memory of some of these dogs, and then we figure out to unlock Bella is all. So that's it. We will continue to show you guys everything we're doing. That's it.
Drive home, and I'm damned if I do, and I'm damned